We've arrived. Now let's push forward, Joker.
And we must push forward through the most infamous part of this palace, at least in the original game, but one that I still quite like. Welcome back to Persona 5 Royal. Arn has something new to say here.
Well...
Yeah, we are way more than halfway. This is pretty much the very final stretch of the palace. There are a couple more safe rooms, but the areas between them are pretty short.
What are your thoughts?
Let's go. Okay, let's go.
But anyway, yeah, we have yet more of these jettisoned imposter suspects. But before that, it's time to examine this force field, which we can't get through yet, but it's still marked on the map. And hold our breath. Thankfully, these are short enough that our bodies don't explode. Oh, my god, I just overrode Ryuji's thing there. But yeah, this one, fortunately, has no force fields, so we can activate this panel here, which will deactivate the earlier force fields and let us go back and explore these. I still can't believe that I almost missed an area in the first part. I mean, it's kind of understandable because you don't have the map at that point in the palace. So it's harder to see unless you explicitly go back there that there is an area on the map that you haven't explored yet. So it looks like this airlock is permanently inaccessible. So this is pretty much just teaching you that some airlocks will be open and some won't be. Also, their entrances and exits are marked by Alpha and Omega respectively, which is kind of cool. Given that those are, I'm pretty sure they're the first and last letters of the Greek alphabet. That's why they're usually used to mean beginning and end. But now we're in the transfer line, where things get a little more complicated. We have a part on our map marked with an exclamation mark, which is our destination, and we also have this suspicious side area. So we'll see what the deal with that is, eventually. Yeah, I had a feeling that one would have treasure if the other didn't.
Indeed.
Yes, friendship ended with Flying Bank, now flying through space is my best friend. This is another reason why I just really like the general aesthetic of this palace. So, the airlock in front of us has this big red inactive, and this one says active. Morgana's actually wrong here. We can't reach the goal with just the airlocks that are currently active, but if you look on the map, any sections connected with ... dots, those are open. So you might notice that we do have full access to that side path, but we can't access the area that connects to the side path just yet. This is a puzzle that is pretty infamous among many first-time players of this game. Apparently, I can't really remember if this is actually true. I've heard that this was worse in the base game than it is in Royal, but it's been so long since I played the base game that I kind of forgotten. Now, we have these Alpha Omega switches, but they're only blue, which means they only affect the blue airlocks. They'll switch off some of them and switch off others. You know, this actually reminds me of a gym puzzle in Pokemon, honestly. So yes, we've opened up some paths, but as you can see, we've closed off others. So we can either head straight down, or we can head through the orange, where there's an enemy, and we'll still be able to proceed, forward from that part. I'm gonna go through the orange here, just because I want to fight the enemy, because, one thing that's pretty cool about this place... Oh, the enemy's just gone in there. I thought for a second it had despawned.
I'll reveal your
Nothing to report. Hi there, Gatekeeper impersonator. but all the enemies in the airlock areas are entirely new compared to anything else in the palace. And this is why I never wanted to recruit this persona earlier, because I love its name here, Dark Sun.
We're evenly matched here. Just don't let your guard down.
We thought this thing as the shadow of the OVA guy. So, this thing, like many things in this palace, is weak to Psi, because it's primarily a nuclear user. It does have Frey Dyne, though, I believe, so it can be pretty dangerous against Haru, who's weak to that. Oh nice, SP cost down from Arn. In fact, I just realized something, I probably want to take Arn out of the party here. So you're gloomy.
It looks sad. Be nice and just give some basic, vague answers.
Who the blazes do you think you are? I feel bad about that. I'm me. I don't owe you an answer. Maybe that's vague enough. Yeah, there we go. Even though the I'm me thing sounds very Joker. I also like how there's a totally new battle background in this area too. As far as you're concerned, what kind of person was I to you? My rival? Nobody really? How about it doesn't matter? Okay, yeah, good. The vague answers were pretty obvious that time. So now we have the real Mithras, not the one who is mistakenly called Mithras, who's actually Mitra. I still just can't stop giving Digital Devil Saga flack for that because it's completely wrong, but yeah, Mithras was a kind of minor Roman cult deity. Yeah, absolutely not Mithra or Mitra. But here we have, yeah, another one of these blue switches, but this one we probably don't want to use because it's going to lock us out of this area. Yeah, that's mainly there just so that if we had the switches in a different configuration, we could actually access the blue one. I personally really like this area just because I like puzzles that are at least somewhat challenging, and I think part of the reason why is because this area gives me the vibe of a lot of the classic, well, to me classic, the kind of Zelda dungeons that I like, the very puzzle-heavy ones.
Joker.
So the ones from, say, like, Ocarina of Time, maybe even Wind Waker, the Oracle games, Skyward Sword. Those are the kind of Zelda dungeons that I like. Not really the more open ones of the original game and Breath of the Wild. Now right here, this is why I wanted to bring Makoto into the party, but I should still, yes, I still have you, which is good, because these things are weak to nuclear. I've already got a Kaiwan from earlier, so I don't need to recruit them.
Ooh, Joker, you're looking cool.
But yeah, here we actually do need to use the opposite element to Psi, unlike the vast majority of this palace. But yeah, this kind of plays into why I like this palace a lot more than Futaba's. I said one of my biggest gripes with Futaba's palace previously, by previously I mean when I covered that palace, is that there was a major lack of enemy variety there. It feels like there's much more enemy variety in Okumura's palace. Like, especially here, the fact that in this last stretch of the palace, every enemy is something you've never seen before.
Okay.
Well, I mean, assuming you've never gone out of your way to try and fuse them.
Bored now. Go find
But
a
yeah,
strong
I just
enemy.
love that. And again, the background is different here. Just gives this final area its whole own unique feeling to it. But okay then, can't get through here. And we can't get through to that area, but we can get down here and activate the blue switch again. I will want to go to that little side blue area though, but other than that, we're heading to... it should be pretty obvious where we're going, the final we'll see. Now here we have Storm invoking Tarragon. I don't actually know what that is. Maybe it's a kind of bird?
This enemy is beneath us. It should be easy if we stay focused.
Thunderbird's actually one of the most popular demon designs in Shin Megami Tensei. It comes from Native American mythology, but the design of it is pretty interesting looking, and it is new to Royal, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember it being in the base game. So, I originally had a lot of trouble figuring out what Thunderbird was weak to, and at first I thought, it's an electric user, so it's probably weak to wind, right? And use Morgana? And then, nope, that didn't work. Then I realized something. It's this palace. Of course it's weak to Psi. Why wouldn't it be weak to Psi? Okay, upbeat. Huh.
It's happy. If you tell a joke, they might play along.
What you humans thinking? I'm sorry, should I take off my shoes? Yeah, is this a joke answer? Yeah, there we go. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I got it wrong much earlier in this palace. This is a joke answer. Something you want to say to me, right? I want you, not really. You don't even have paws, but let's try this. Yes, we don't have enough of a relationship for it to tell us that it doesn't have any paws. Yeah, the beast type was really meant for more, well, beast shadows rather than birds, but still. We have Thunderbird now. Thunderbird is go. The thing about a lot of enemies in here being weak to Psy that I've just kind of thought about is, none of the earlier palaces were really like this. Even though we got a new party member, they never really made like 80% of the enemies in the palace weak to the new party member. And I think the reason they do this specifically with Haru in this palace is because it's quite late into the game, and otherwise they thought players maybe mightn't give her a chance. So by making almost everything in her debut dungeon weak to her, they kind of force players to focus on using her more. Right, this is going to get us where we need to go in the end, but I have a feeling that's going to cut off our access to the Will Seed. So first we're going to go for the Will Seed, and also for the Will Seed, I know for a fact that this thing, I'm going to immediately take out Makoto from the party, because I know from looking up, this thing is weak to wind. The weird thing about the Will Seed Guardians is, as I've said before, aside from the first two, which are, well, the first, which is Mara, and the second, which is pretty brutal. Yes, I was right, this is an orange airlock. I don't really remember much about the other Will Seed Guardians, so I just find that by the time you get to them, you're usually strong enough to really beat them, and they don't
Father's Will Seeds. Let's take it.
have a lot of particularly, like, memorable strategies that they use. But yeah, this thing is weak to wind, but it's also vulnerable to a few ailments. Let's go. How bold of you to slack off in complete disregard for your duties. It seems we have a few impudent workers who are in need of some extra training. Oh no, not the employee icebreaker training retreat! Anything but that! Yeah, I've just always really disliked those in workplaces. It's just like, I get that they want to encourage like morale and teamwork, but at the same time, yeah, I don't think you can really force people to get along like that.
The opponent is strong. Don't do
But anyway, this thing is called Pagan Savior, or Melchizedek, as Joker actually pronounces it later on. I kind of like how it has a pentagram in its sort of chest thing. Actually, that kind of looks like a core crystal from Xenoblade, but yeah, this thing, as I said, is weak to wind. It can inflict hunger, and it has God's hand. Yeah, that's something to watch out for. Okay, that said miss, not block, which means it's probably still vulnerable to this.
weaker than before. Because she's hungry.
So yeah, that's hunger status, and we've actually seen this, well, we've had a bit of an allusion to this earlier on in the game with the Yakisoba Pan item. I was kind of hoping that she wouldn't get Harisen recovery, so I could actually show that Amrita drop does cure that. I found that out in an earlier take of this part that I decided to not use. But yeah, that actually does work on hunger. I thought that it was considered a special ailment since you don't often see it outside of this particular dungeon. But no, it is still very much considered a normal ailment. Let's just Tetrakan Joker just for extra insurance.
Who's next?
Okay, Melchizedek is still low. I would very much like to not forget him. Let's not do more Idanian tactics, because I would really like to see him actually use God's Hand, because it looks pretty... Yeah, here we go. Why does he always go for Morgana? For some reason he tends to go for Morgana in most of my playthroughs. Okay then. I did not realize that would do that much damage.
I'll help you get back at them, Mona.
Come on, why aren't we getting the new Fox and Arn showtime?
This one's free.
It's weird, we have not seen that this entire palace, and we really should.
Feelings about her?
Okay, so currently that thing is reflectified. I'm so sorry, Yusuke, but you're going to be my guinea pig here, just to get rid of that.
Mona's in trouble.
kind of wonder if
Here,
Yusuke can freeze himself via reflection.
here come the bucks.
So I don't think this is like Pokemon where ice types are immune to freeze or anything like that. Being resistant to freeze, I don't think makes you immune to the status condition, but anyway, you are right now in need of some wind.
Ooh, Joker, you're looking cool.
I don't know exactly how much damage that's going to do. I'd rather go over to Yusuke again. I have noticed, though, that Baton Pass Rising Slash is starting to lose its luster a little bit. I say that and it does over 1,000 damage anyway, but that was with charge. It used to be doing that much without charge. So, yeah, I feel like it's losing a bit, but he is going to be getting an even better version eventually.
Now I can fight harder.
Okay, there we go, Psy Boost. Yeah, I still feel like Fast Heal is not great. It kind of is not very synergetic with Icy Glare. Don't even know if that's a real word. But now we can go and grab the final Will Seed, which you really want to do, by the way. I also love how Joker just straight up cut some, like, holograms with the knife there. So this thing is not actually going to seem like much just yet. But the ring that these Will Seeds turn into the next time we talk to Jose and Mementos is absolutely insane. It is one of the best Will Seed items in the game, and that's why you really want to make sure you get all 3 of the Greed Seeds. I probably should have stressed that earlier, but it is that good.
The 3rd Will Seed, it's ours now. Sorry, Father.
So just to show that right now it's not really all that great, Crystal of Greed, Attack Master. The item we get from itemizing the first treasure demon is a better version of that. So yeah, not great at this point. It gets way better in its ring form, trust me. So with the orange there switched over, we can now get to our destination, but first we have to switch blue back so we can actually get to the place that will get to our destination. Also, let's put Makoto back, and let's also heal Morgana. Oh no, I healed him with arm, that's going to encourage him. Okay, so in fact, that actually reminded me of something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, but I haven't really had the chance yet. So, this is something not a lot of people in this game would really know about because very few people actually play with the party members on AI, but if you do, every party member actually has its own custom AI, and Morgana does indeed prioritize healing Arn over anyone else. I think even Joker. However, Morgana also heals Ryuji with higher priority than you would expect, but I chalk that up less to story integration and more just to the fact that Ryuji joins earlier, so he needs to be high on Morgana's healing priority just to make the first powers more manageable. I think who's lowest on Morgana's priority list is Yusuke. It just kind of reminds me of how, like, party members have different healing AI in the Tales of series, and I think my favorite is a statement from TV Tropes on Ravens in Tales of Vesperia's healing AI. It says that,
We can use...
to paraphrase, the Casanova Deathseeker Raven prefers healing women over a dog, over men, over himself. It's a shame that he has that little faith in his own employees.
Well,
yeah, I feel bad that a lot of fast food workers get stereotyped as being low-skilled, because I'm sure that's not the case. I mean, Futaba probably doesn't have a lot of experience outside, so I suppose she doesn't really have, I suppose she wouldn't be that resilient towards motion sickness or things like that. Not really sure why I still have Yusuke in my party, but I'm liking it, so I'm going to keep it that way. So this is the most infamous airlock puzzle, and I don't really think it's that bad personally, but just so this video can serve as a guide for people who get stuck on this, I have gone through this in advance and made notes on it. So basically we want to go through this one first. Then we want to go through blue again, not that we really have much of a choice.
what?
And yeah, Futaba's telling us this is the final stretch of the palace. So yeah, this one next. And now we have these green airlocks. We'll deal with them later, but first we need to hit the blue switch here. Some of them are going to be hard to figure out whether to hit a switch or not, but this one you want to hit when you first see it. Oh, I was hoping I could Shanae hook you down that incline.
Roger. Let's end them. Raring to go, eh, Fox?
Why not arms? Why are you content to give me every single showtime except the one I actually want to see? Because I really want to talk about the film naming trivia for this one, because it's particularly, let's just say, interesting. As it's pretty on brand for Yusuke stuff throughout this game so far, I'll just say.
I'll reveal your true form.
While we're beating up these things, oh hey, Joker's star finisher works kind of well on these star-like enemies. I may have said this in another Persona playthrough, but I think it's kind of interesting how the name Kaiwan was localized. Yeah, we don't want to go through there yet, we want to go through these greens. It's because in Japanese, it's written more like Kiyun, but they actually researched, I think, that passage of the Bible that I think it's referenced in, and found that it actually is, like, more accurately Kaiwan. So, yeah, the English localizers ended up calling it that. It's like a deification of the planet Saturn, apparently. But yeah, here we just have to keep going through greens. So the thing about greens is that they switch every time you go through a green. So, yeah, they don't have their own switches. You need to remember that and make sure the greens are in the right configuration. But now, okay then.
Wasn't that graceful?
Okay, so this battle let me review my notes again and realize what I was actually trying to tell my future self there. Wind boost. I probably want to keep that, especially since hunger is going to be a gimmick going forward. I haven't even used Miracle Punch yet. It's basically just Lucky Punch, but slightly better. I suppose I can get rid of Diorama. I do really want to keep Pulimpa, even though it is not an amazing status ailment in this game.
What a skill.
Heat Wave, yeah, I can get rid of Dorman Rush. And there we go, Deadly Fury. That's going to be a big improvement over Rising Slash. I also need to rearrange Yusuke's skills because they're all a bit of a mess now. In fact, I'm going to actually go ahead and do that now because it's bothering me. Okay, there we go, that looks a lot neater. And I've neatened up everyone else's skill lists. So, I want to go into the second blue here, because these blues are all connected by greens, but we only want to go through one green here. Because otherwise, this green would be closed by the time we got to this room. So now we can go forward through this green. And in this room, we want to not hit the blue switch. Let me just quickly look at the map here to see if I can figure out why. And yeah, that's probably why. See, all we need from here is to go through this orange in front of us, then switch orange, and we're pretty much home free. So that's what I'll be doing here. Orange. And there is, in fact, an orange switch in this room. Guarded by this Dalek thing, so let's do that. A lot of people just mistake Daleks for being robots when they're actually organic creatures inside sort of robotic suits.
Wasn't that graceful?
Hell yeah! A new move!
Okay, you get better spread damage. Yep, there's Deathbound. As I think I was saying earlier, I'm just not a huge fan of Deathbound on Ryuji because it has to hit twice to do really decent damage. I was hoping Makoto also learned a new skill, but it's that, so nah. Yeah, I don't really particularly want that. Nuke Boost is good, though. And down to 0%, just the way that I like to end palaces. Hopefully I'll end the palace this way. So yeah, we've activated orange, and this is why I didn't, because if we did pull the blue switch, we would have been able to get straight into that area, but it also would have cancelled the blue connection to the end, so that's why we want to hit that one. I hope that this all ends up making sense. It just, For some reason, a lot of people end up disliking this palace just because of the airlock puzzle, but, like, I don't think it's that bad. It's been so long since I played the original game that I'm not even sure how, like, this was in the original, but according to the internet, it was worse.
Up to you. Persona!
And let's see how much Heatwave does with a full 4 baton pass chain. Oh, that line there. I have a bit of a weird history with that line specifically, but I'll be able to talk about that in the next palace. I have a story about that. It will all make sense eventually.
They were nothing.
Okay, grab this one treasure. And so yeah, we can pretty much head on out. Well, after this chest, we're basically done here. There is another chest though before the very end of the palace. Kind of like the way this looks going diagonally down. It's just such a good thing that they can just stay in a straight line when they go through these airlocks and not just completely drift out sideways to space. But I suppose that's the power of cognition.
Yeah!
A lot of people would beg to differ, Ryuji. But we are out. Okay, there is one room that I didn't go into, though, in that. Okay, I can do that by warping to the safe room. I feel like that'll be more convenient than just trying to reset all the switches and everything. Because there is a safe room past here, and I obviously want to log the warp point past the puzzle, just so that I don't have to go through it again.
Did you notice?
Yes, I did notice. Maybe he really is building a giant attack robot. And he's cleverly disguising it as a water tower. That's still one of my favorite missions from Sly, just for how weird it is. But yeah, this is that chest that I was referring to. And that gives us a spacesuit. No additional effect and actually not that great. Oh yeah, here's the thing that I got out of itemizing Hellbiker. So who wants that actually? Oh, I forgot to even give Morgana the Frost Ace hood. I knew I was forgetting something. I think Haru will take that, just because she needs the best armor, since I'm going to be using her in the boss fight of this dungeon later on anyway. Oh yeah, Futaba can equip armor, but in general, it's not really going to do anything. Her accessory slot does serve a purpose, though, if you give her something that increases experience or money, but that's really the only time her accessory will ever have an impact. And, you know, I suppose let's just give that to Joker, because, well, I got a game over via cursed insta-kills earlier, so that'll hopefully prevent that from happening. But yeah, I'll get the safe room in a moment, but first, I just want to see the cutscene for getting to the end of this place.
We found it! This is it!
But we haven't found any information about the mental collapses. That bothers me.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Maybe he's hiding it. We got this far. Wouldn't it be better to just squeeze the truth out of the guy?
Because admittedly, if he is behind the mental collapses, he'd know enough about the cognitive world to be able to obfuscate his own thoughts from intruders.
Is fine by me. Let's send out the calling card and take his treasure then.
And we will be doing that on the first possible opportunity too.
You can decide when we do so.
Which is good, I really like doing that, it just kind of feels neater, but there is still a little bit more to explore. Not that it really means a whole lot, but it gives us an additional cork bark. And then there's this whole area here, which is on our map, and yet we cannot access it yet. Don't worry about that, we will be able to explore it eventually, just only during the heist. Yeah, I hate having little red areas left on the map, and speaking of which, I'm going to be warping back to take care of that in the airlock zone. Yeah, weapon production does not exactly, bode well for anyone. There is actually a Thieves' Den award for getting
This is
Yusuke to
exactly what
replicate
we're
a certain
hoping
number of
for.
cards, so I'm gonna have to make sure that I keep up with that so that I can get that. Oh yeah, Morgana's not wrong when he says we should be careful. Because it's not going to be a piece of cake. I might as well talk about this now. The boss of this palace, in Royal specifically, not so much in the base game where he's kind of just average, but in Royal, it is one of the most difficult boss fights in the game. Possibly, for its position in the game, the hardest palace boss fight.
What are your thoughts?
I wonder if Arn's
let's
only
go.
saying that because there's actually still some unexplored areas, so yeah, I'll take care of that. And yeah, this one has a blue switch, which is mostly here if you get to this area with the blues in the wrong configuration, because this would be the way you could get out. But yeah, this green right here, that was one that I didn't want to take or try taking, because it would ruin everything. Now, one final alarm before we leave this place.
Remarkable.
So, Hariti is often considered a decent persona for the upcoming boss fight because it gets dizzy boost and some dizzy attacks, but it requires some level ups for that, so you will need to use execution since there's no, everything here is execution, hanging, because, yeah, there's no way to possibly have the Emperor's Confidant started by this point, because, well, we know by now it's Haru.
It is neither remarkable nor unremarkable.
Okay, Kushinada has Martaru Kaja, Daisojo has much better magic, but I think I'm gonna go for this because Martaru Kaja is something I very much want for the boss fight of this dungeon.
Choose which skills to inherit.
And we've got rank 10 on this. By the way, also, this is who Kushi is based off of in Orc Army. No, I don't want to give up that crazy accident skill set that I got way earlier, even though it hasn't really helped me all that much so far. Yeah, I don't need Sidewall. Null Confuse... Well, I mean, I doubt I'm ever going to be using Hysterical Slap. Doubt I'll ever use Wind Wall either. Umreader's Shower is actually not bad, though. I'd probably rather have that than Null Confuse. Oh, Mithras turns into a Nuke Amp skill card. I will definitely take that.
This card's
Red Rider and Hecaton make Kumhanda. Yeah, I'm not hugely invested in this Red Rider. I suppose I could do
Choose
that.
which skills to inherit.
This should confirm. Well, well.
And I think this means the only thing in this palace that I don't have in my compendium right now is Girimikala, which I couldn't find a way to make that without giving up Valkyrie, and Valkyrie is just better in terms of stats, so... No, my build for this pretty much relies on Sai, so I can't take that, unfortunately. It's always kind of annoying when I have to give up on the alarm skill changes, because they're always fun to see what happens. Suppose I don't need Stagnant Air. Oh, Dekaja is actually decent for the upcoming boss, so maybe I will actually do a Gallows just for that. I'm so sorry, Lachesis, about this, but it has to be done. I guess I'll take that over Temper Slash. Actually, Magara will be more useful in the boss fight. So I keep talking about this boss fight, but let me just say what elements that you want for this. You obviously want Sai, you also want Nuke, Wind, and if possible, Fire. I don't think... Oh, I actually do have Archidyne. Okay, that's good. I have all of the possible elements that I need for this on Joker, which is pretty great, actually. But also, Mataru Kaja, Mataru Unda, those are all good. Dekaja is very good because this fight... It likes to really annoy you by casting one single target buff, And you might be wondering how that can ruin your entire strategy, but, well, we'll find out next time, because, oh boy, that thing is insane. Just notice, we have 46% compendium completion now.
This is the you wish to see in the
That's
takeout
pretty
then.
solid. I
This
wasn't
persona.
expecting to
I
have
will
that much at
require
this
the
point.
part. This is your rude.
I'm just buying a couple of
There is
junk
an
things
alarm
just to
in
see,
effect.
yep,
One
especially
of my
risky, good.
favorite duties.
Just to see if I can
Here's
get
my
a fun accident to end this alarm. Okay then. With that, I think we're pretty much done here. I'll go over equipment before the boss fight itself in the next part, but before we end things, I actually need to take care of one tiny little daily life thing,
What do you wanna do?
because I really don't want to have to tack this on to the part that contains the boss fight. It is actually something that I've been working towards for quite a while though, and it hopefully shouldn't take too long, because it's just a hangout, it's not an actual rank up. Also, this is going to be a lot. There we go, yeah. Pretty big power to be doing in one day.
Yes.
Okay.
The true test is right. I am actually looking forward to the boss fight, because while a lot of people really hate it for being difficult, it's my favorite boss in Royal for exactly that reason. It really requires you to think and strategize. I thought you were contractually obligated to never speak of that again. I'm sure a lot of people would like it if the Morgana and Ryuji debacle ended with, like that Simpsons episode did, where everyone had to sign an agreement that they would never talk about it again. I still actually think it really wasn't that bad in the end. It's only just like an hour or so of a 120-hour plus game, so it never really bothered me all that much. And also, I never really had any particularly strong feelings towards Morgana, either positively or negatively. So it not only doesn't matter that much to me that, you know, he acted like a bit of a jerk for just less than an hour, but also it doesn't really bother me that much that the scenes make some fans dislike him, because again, I never really, you know, cared that much either way.
This is Haru's first mission, and we're going after her father. Give word when you're ready.
Oh boy, yeah, that's gotta suck, but at the same time, that was pretty much true of Yusuke as well.
Yo.
Oh.
Hey!
Oh, this is Shady Commodities, isn't it? Although these attack items are coming at the perfect time. Because attack items are very, very useful for this boss fight as well. Okay, spiritual spot, Meiji Shrine, yeah, we don't particularly care about that. Oh, also there's a crossword tonight. So what do we got here? Establishing order or worth. Oh, I think I know what this is. Older in years. Would this be senior? I wonder if this was senpai in the Japanese version, i.e. scholarly. Because senpai is used at work as well as at school. So this one here is, in fact, the thing that Okumura is currently at the top of. That's, I kind of have not a lot of interest in that, because I'm not, you know, hugely into politics, but that's kind of interesting, I guess. Just sort of almost makes me think of the different ways to sort lists in, computing, but yeah. We actually need to get a massage from Kawakami.
What?
And regale her of our stories of how we were just in the vacuum of space without a spacesuit and could breathe. But yeah, tonight I'm actually going to be seeing, yes, Hifumi is not available to rank up, and that's actually good. Because it means I'll be able to have a hangout with her, and hopefully this should be the one that gives her room decoration. I don't have a star persona, but it shouldn't matter that much. Yeah, so this is the Booktown invite with her,
Let's go.
which is the one that I needed. There's sort of an order that you get the different hangouts in, and that's why we kind of made sure to store this earlier, so that we get a particular hangout earlier. I like how this kind of makes sense no matter where you are in her confidants, because in this point it kind of makes sense that she's wanting to study because, yeah, she just lost a match. And yeah, that was enough points anyway. Didn't even need a star persona. Which means that I won't actually be able to show what giving a present does. Yet, at least. Yeah, sometimes bookstores do have different ways to sort of sort them. I just noticed that that box at the bottom says set of 500 yen, so I guess you can buy a whole set of those books for, well, 500 yen.
I look forward to it.
And there we go, we get the king piece. We'll grow stronger soon, and that's the last rank we needed. And so now, we move on to the 29th, which is actually my birthday in real life, so I would say that this is actually, like, going to be cool because I get to do my favorite boss in the game, but no, the boss fight will actually happen tomorrow, because that's the way the calling card works for this one. Sometimes you actually do get to fight the boss the same day you send the calling card, and it's not just for Taba's Palace, it's actually at least one other one, but this one does take another day.
All right.
Well, unfortunately, they already do. This guy's probably the kind who just encourages everyone to have, to just get into very basic jobs in the future, probably. Although I don't want to say a specific one because I don't want to, you know, shame anyone who's actually in those jobs. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, civil servant. I actually know quite a lot of people who are civil servants.
Why don't you try?
But this question is the one I actually find interesting. So yeah, the fishermen of Nagaragawa are also civil servants. What agency do they belong to? Yeah, this is one that you probably won't know if you're not Japanese, but they actually belong to the imperial household.
This is it.
Very good.
So, Cormorant Fisherman. Cormorant is what the Pokemon Cramorant is based off of. And I believe this is actually done with Cramorant in the Pokemon games too, that kind of fishing. Even fishing is a hereditary position? Huh. And yeah, I do like this line. Because yeah, especially in Japan, political membership can be quite hereditary.
Nice going.
They go into that in, you know, Yoshida's Confidant. Well, I mean, you and all of us both. Well, the Phantom Thieves, but you don't seem to approve of them. Just be careful, we don't want to be doing everything for fame. But now, it is time. Next time, we will be sending the calling card and facing possibly the hardest boss fight in the game, and one that I've been really looking forward to for a long time. So, see you all then.